Okay, once again, it is me, NBT SKY, and so we are doing the numerology report on Bill Gates. So first off, before we get into all of the good stuff, let's talk about the basic stuff. Bill breaks down to 8, which brings you into Mercury. Gates breaks down to 7, which brings you into Uranus and Neptune if you're dealing with numerology, not the order of the actual planets. So his high frequency is 33 and 6. His medium frequency still brings him into the 6, and then his low frequency brings him into the 0 point. Now, he was, according to Google, he was born in Seattle, Washington. So we got Seattle, which brings you into the moon, Washington, which brings you into Saturn, and then it brings his high frequency into Mercury when he's in this area. But he still maintains his frequency, but in a medium vibration in 33 and 6, and his 6 ends up in a low vibration. I'm sure he still does not live there, but meanwhile back at the ranch. So we have his birthday, which is 10/28/1955, which breaks down to another master number of 22 and 4, right? In his month and day, you see the sun comes up 2 times. His high frequency and his medium frequency comes up in Saturn. His low frequency still comes up at 0. And then you have his, I'm not counting this, but his year is in a 2, which is in the moon, which matches that. Where he's at, or where he was in Washington, brings you into Saturn, which is high and medium frequency. And then we have to look at the fact that the 33 and 6 lands up with the Mars, Uranus and Neptune, and the Venus. But we're going to look at 33 and 6 in Venus for the most part. In the location where he was born, we're going to look at 33-6 between Mercury and Venus. Venus still stands, but just in a low point, right? And then we're going to look at Saturn and the high and medium frequency, because it's matching his date of birth. So anyway, I decided I was going to look at the conjunctions. And the conjunction I chose to look at is a conjunction between the Sun and Saturn. So this is talking about intensified energy impact on personal growth, self-discipline, self-mastery, and personal authority, which all comes in conjunction with his energy in your ways. Also, Saturn and the Sun comes in conjunction less than a month after his birth. So that's 11/16/1955. And so we have the 16 in the middle of there, which 16 breaks down to 7, which matches Gates 16 and 7. Right? Now we have all of these master numbers. We talk about wisdom, knowledge, the ability to create in a physical reality. And then we have this natural intuition that takes place. So we're going to look at that in the tarot and the bone throw. That's what we're going to look at. Meanwhile, even if the 33 and 6 wasn't there, the 22 is there. And if you're looking at when there was a conjunction, which is less than a month after his birth, right? You're still going to get this 11 and 2 energy, which is still going to bring him into 33 and 6 regardless of the fact. So 33 and 6 is still prominent in his numerology report regardless. So let's do a quick recap. 22 and 4 we're going to look at in Saturn. 33 and 6 we're going to look at in Venus. And we're going to look at 33 and 6 with Mercury and Venus. Period. Now, when we're looking at the elements in general, we're looking at, 3 fire elements, 3 earth elements, 4 water elements, and 5 air elements. So, first off, when we talk about the 3 fire elements, if we're looking at this in tarot, we're looking at the 3 of wands as the fire energy. We're looking at contemplation. But you can also look at the fact that the wands could represent 3 different types of projects that take place, or 3 creative ideas that take place, right? And so when we move forward into this 3 of Three of Coins, Three of Earth, which Saturn is in the Earth, right? And we see, Saturn comes up 4 times, yet Saturn is still in the Earth. We're talking about either 3 ideas that created physical wealth at minimum. 3 ideas that created physical wealth. But also people that were able to buy into it, invest into it. And also this energy of giving and trying to find a balanced way to do it. So then we have this 4 of Cups energy, this boredom energy. He probably tends to get bored, or can tend to get bored with certain things, and so he will flip through projects and creating and so on and so forth. So he's probably gonna dive into something else different regardless. Now we got this 5 of Air, right? We have Mercury up there in the air. We have Venus up there that could be in the air. We have Uranus and Neptune also that could be up in the air. If you're looking at this at tarot and the minor arcanas, you're talking about the 5 of Swords. And so we could be talking about, conflicts, losses, wars. This does not have to mean that there was physical loss, but wars. Mind you, if we're just looking at how the planets roll out, we got these we have the Sun 2 times, we have Saturn 3 times, we have the Moon 3 times, we have Venus 3 times. So 3 is prominent. And we have Mars 1 time, we have Uranus and Neptune, which would bring you the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. This is general, right? And then you have Mercury that comes up 1 time, which brings you back to the Ace of Swords. So when we're talking about the Ace of Swords, this matches his numerology report, whether people like it or not, because we're talking about communication, thought, and technologies. More so in 3 different realms, and so these 3 different realms may have affected emotions, wars, or warish energy, also creativity. Now, in a short that I did, I had picked a sound profile that stated that, he owned one of the largest pieces of land, which makes pretty good sense, when we have this Saturn here, which is a discussion of farming and the physical reality, which we're going to look into some more. So what we're looking at is the 22 and 4 in Saturn, and we're going to look into the 33 and 6 in Venus, and we're going to look at the 33 6 in Mercury. The 11 and 2 comes during the conjunction of the Sun and the Saturn and the Sun. I might not get into it, but let's just keep in mind that 11/16/1955, which is less than a month later, brings you into this higher frequency of Uranus and Neptune, which matches his last name exactly, 16 and 7. So anyway, I will see you all later. It is me, NBT SKY, and this is the Bill Gates numerology report before the bone throwing, the tarot card reading, and that's how that's gonna go. Talk to you all later. Deuces.